Got a good one to start day 4 in Phoenix with Canada and Colombia. Canada playing last night, losing big to USA. Ernie Witt and Canada, the visiting team, so their lineup comes first. Edouard Julien really looks good in this series. And Owen Casey is back in. Casey in game 1 had a nice game against Great Britain. Tyler O'Neill, one note, will be DHing in this ball game.
The pitcher for Team Colombia is Adrian Almeida. He actually pitched in game 1 against Mexico. He faced 3 batters and threw 13 pitches, so he gets the nod to open up this game. You can see his record in the Atlantic League a year ago, 15 games, pretty decent ERA, but only 15 1/3. He's had some time in pro ball. He was affiliated, and he spent 2022 season, as we mentioned, pitching for the York Revolution in the Atlantic League. 9 minor league seasons for Almeida with the Mets and the Angels from 2012 through 2021.
So I guess the question is, what's the residual effect from yesterday? Is it better to just get blown out, wipe the slate, come back, or have a game, a tight one that you were expected to win in Colombia's case, and you lose to a massive underdog in Great Britain?
Yeah, I think it's easier for Canada to get over the loss at the hands of Team USA than it is for Colombia.
Colombia, of course, jumped out to a lead in that ball game, and here's Julien taking a fastball, a good rip, and it's out of play. The count is 0-1. He's walked 3 times. He's really good at that. We've talked about this youngster and his bright future. 2 for 5 and a home run.
I think the thing that really plays in Team Canada's favor today is last night, yeah, they trailed early in the game, 9 runs for Team USA in the first, but the hitters faced 2 big league starters. It's going to be a different case for them today. I think they have a much less challenging matchup against Team Colombia's pitching.
One of those big league starters really looked good, and that was Lance Lynn of Team USA. He went 5 innings, did give up a run. Jared Young touched him for a home run, but that was it. Miles Michaelis on the mound right after him. Almeida to the plate, and Julien knocks that into center field. That's a base hit. It's kind of in the gap. Mercado sliding to get it, and Julien with a big turn will hold at first.
Let's take a look at the defense behind Almeida. A little bit different look today as Dilson Herrera gets the start in left field. He came off the bench and hit a pinch hit home run in the game yesterday. Mercado's been in center. Ramirez has gone back and forth between right and left. Urshela, Frias, Diaz, and Rodriguez around the infield, and Elias Diaz returns behind the plate for Team Colombia.
Now Freddie Freeman 2 for 8, has knocked in a run in this classic. He was 0 for 3 last night. Lefty on lefty with a big shift for Freeman. The left side is somewhat open, especially down the third baseline. Freeman takes strike 1. That's Doug Eddings, Major League umpire behind home plate. Alan Porter, Major League umpire at first. Jairo Mendoza out of Nicaragua. Edwin Luisa out of the Netherlands. Tyler O'Neill, Jared Young also scheduled to appear here in the top of the first. And Freeman takes outside.
Well, it's good to have Freddie Freeman in 2 spot as he's got a good eye. There's the umpiring lineup for today's game. Alan Porter has been behind the plate earlier. He's at first base.
Yeah, Freeman against lefties, 294 last year. That breaking ball catches the corner, although it looked a little off on the grid.
And it looked a little off to Freddie Freeman.
You and I are going to be off the grid, so to speak, in a couple of days after this Pool C, and that was out. But a strike, and it's 1-2.
You know, one thing we haven't talked a lot about is calling balls and strikes in this pool is difficult for umpires who are used, especially big league umpires, who are used to seeing major league pitchers, and they're always around the plate. They're always throwing strikes, and plus you know who they are and what they feature. Not the case in this WBC. Sometimes you see kids that have never pitched higher than A ball, and you really have to be patient as an umpire. Let the ball travel, and sometimes you can get caught off guard.
Teams scout umpires and their strike zones. Umpires scout major league pitchers and their stuff. So you just don't walk into it blind. Julian's at first. Freeman hits a ball hard and deep, left center field. Herrera has room, and he's there, and he makes the catch. And Julian retreats to first. And there's one out here in the first. That brings up Tyler O'Neill. Starting pitching at this point of the tournament, day 4. Imperative that you get some innings out of your starter because bullpens have been used by both of these teams in abundance.
Yeah, and Team Canada has only had 1 total inning from their starters in 2 games.
O'Neill had a great game in game 1. It was 4 for 4. Had a hit last night. Has knocked in 4 runs.
Well, I think he's a key hitter in this lineup, especially against the left-hander on the mound right now. I mean, he'd love to be able to jumpstart the offense for Canada and get them an early lead.
Julian's leaning, started, stopped, and now in trouble, and he is safe. He somehow got in. We'll look at it, certainly. Edward started and then stopped right away, and by the time he retreated, he was in trouble.
Well, he gets a great jump, but you can see for some reason he hesitated, and then he slipped. He slipped a little bit with his right foot in his effort to get back to first base. And now Colombia is not going to appeal it.
Elias Diaz is like, wait a minute.
Well, he picks him off by a wide margin, but Julian gave him the swing move down there, gave him one hand, took it away, and safely got back to first. Watch the effort by Julian as he's going to stick that hand out and then takes it away and reaches the base. Swing and a miss by Rodriguez, the first baseman.
Well, he went around the glove with both arms to get to the bag, and the glove never touched him. 1-1, and it's outside.
You know, this is one thing we saw dramatically from Team USA last night, how the batters controlled the count. And when the batters control the count, they are in charge. O'Neill has the count in his favor, 2-1, and he can really be selective here. I think the opposite is true for pitchers. When they control the count, they are in the driver's seat. Pitch ahead, the hitters can't be as selective, can't be as patient, and they start to expand their strike zone. So pitching ahead is great for pitchers, and the opposite is true for the hitters.
The pitch is inside. Elias Diaz is a big league catcher with the big league arm. Julian, who showed that he might be running earlier in the count, now with the count 3-1.
I would run right here. 3-1 count. You got a veteran hitter at the plate. It could be ball 4, or I think if he gets a good pitch, he'll hit it hard.
Not running. And fouled at the plate. Now the count's full, and it's the same scenario here. Although if you didn't run 3-1, are you going to run 3-2?
Well, and the only thing that's different in this situation is Jared Young on deck as a left-handed hitter. So you might roll the dice a little bit and start the runner. Mindful that if O'Neill hits one in the gap, you got a chance to score a run.
Let's see if he goes. There's one out. 3-2, not running. And a swing and a miss. Boy, Almeida dialed up 92 there. Gets the strikeout, and here comes Young.
Well, he gets it in a good spot as he ties up O'Neill. You can see Tyler was late getting to that inside pitch, probably thinking he was going to get something off speed, and Diaz behind the plate. You made a great call. You got a big league catcher right there, and he made a good pitch on a big league hitter.
Now Young, who popped one out last night against Lance Lynn. He's walked 3 times in the tournament. And a swing and a miss. That opens his at bat. Almeida got as high as Double-A with the Angels back in 2019. 9 minor league seasons with the Mets and the Angels. Leaning and running is Julian. That's a strike. And the throw's into center field. Julian didn't see it and initially paused, and so he's going to stay at second base.
When you become more experienced as a base stealer, when you slide into second, the first place you're going to look is center field. See if that ball gets by the infielder. And Julian couldn't find the baseball, and by the time he does, it's too late to take a shot to run to third.
I think the other thing that he'll do as a more experienced base stealer is not lean as much as he did away from first. Both times he ran, he was really leaning, and even you and I can see it up here. But it's a stolen base and an opportunity for Canada. He had 19 stolen bases, and we haven't talked about his speed, and that's another thing that he has, along with great plate discipline, slugging, and all of those things offensively. Little tapper up the first base line. Here's a look, Buck.
Yeah, when you see a base runner at first base, especially as a catcher, and you watch him leaning, you look at him, here he goes, he's leaning, and then he finally breaks, takes a peek over his shoulder, and never located the ball until it was much too late. But he's in scoring position now with 2 outs.
But Almeida is out in front, 0-2 on Young. Check swing, and he went. That is strike 3. Boy, Adrian Almeida looks nasty out there. And Canada's got a lot of left-handed bats. It could be a rough ride early. Colombia, Canada, underway. Here comes Colombia. They took down Mexico in game 1 and were stunned by Great Britain yesterday. This is a good lineup, and they've got pop, especially right in that sweet spot with Jorge Alfaro, the designated hitter. Alfaro and Reynaldo Rodriguez are the boppers on this team. Harold Ramirez, Gio Urshela trying to set the table with Alfaro hitting third. Elias Diaz is in the cleanup spot. And this is Noah Skiro, who gets strike 2, 0-2.
Yeah, Skiro's got a lot of strikeout ability. That last pitch was a curveball. He's got a good curveball, a good slider, and a fastball. Last year, between AA and AAA, he had 133 strikeouts in 121 innings. So he's got the ability to punch out some of these Colombian hitters. Another breaking ball. That one missed down.
Harold Ramirez is 1 for 8. Colombia's win in their first game was a stirring win, beating Mexico, who was favored. That ball pulled foul. And then yesterday they jumped out to a 3-0 lead. Everything looked great for Colombia, Buck, after a couple innings.
Yeah, and they took that lead into the bottom of the 4th inning, and that's when the Great Britain team scored 3 to tie it up. 2 more in the 5th, and all of a sudden Colombia was playing from behind.
Albert Cabrera, their skipper, wants to get the bats rolling again here. Julian on the outfield grass was spending a lot of time at second base with ground balls, angles, positioning today during batting practice.
Yeah, and you know what? He's worked hard to improve his defense at second base. Let's take a look at the rest of the defensive lineup. Jacob Robson is in center. Tyler O'Neill is the DH this afternoon. Young and Casey on the corners. Lopez Julian up the middle. Toro Freeman on the corners. And young Bo Naylor behind the plate. Washing the signs for the pitcher, Noah Skiro.
Urshela in this classic is 0 for 8. And of course, for a lot of these countries and teams, they look to their major leaguers to kind of set the pace. And Urshela right now is looking for his first hit in this game 3.
Well, and we saw the Team USA hitters. It took them 3 games before they got things going. And I don't care how much experience you have as a big league player. You get into this atmosphere and you're pressing a bit. You want to do well. And you feel like you got to carry the team. There's Jorge Alfaro on deck. But sometimes it takes the guys a little bit longer to get acclimated to the timing of this tournament.
Skiro misses away. We were talking about the minor leagues and how there have been teams that have been contracted. There's fewer minor league jobs out there. And the draft, of course, the rounds were reduced. So Skiro was not drafted. He played college ball at Liberty, but that doesn't mean he's not a prospect. He was signed by the Phillies, and in just 2 years in the minor leagues, he found himself in AAA. That is a rapid ascent for any young pitcher or young player. And he misses outside and he loses Urshela. Colombia's got a runner at first.
Yeah, Liberty University is in Lynchburg, Virginia. He pitched 3 years there, and you're right, he started out in the Phillies organization. They started him out at the Jersey Shore in Lakewood, New Jersey, and then they moved him up to AA. And last year, AA and AAA, so you're right, he's risen quickly through the organization.
That doesn't happen to most draft picks, right, Buck? I mean, that's usually, sometimes it's a couple years in single A. Short A, then long A, and then maybe double A your third year. Here's Alfaro. Big right-handed bat. Pulls it on the ground. Toro. Julian Freeman. That's a double play. Exactly what Noah Skiro wanted. Huge day for these two countries, Colombia and Canada.
Welcome back to the World Baseball Classic, and what an extraordinary story in right field. Harold Ramirez, right fielder for Team Colombia, has that beautiful blue hair, and there's a really profound inspiration behind it. His son, Elian, has been diagnosed with autism, and Harold has had his hair dyed blue now for more than a year to raise awareness and those supporting those treated for autism. And Rich and Buck, it's an amazing story. He has talked about how after Elian's diagnosis and getting the proper treatment for him, how much Elian has improved, and also how much more compassionate Elian's journey has made Harold himself as a father.
It is a great story, and it's something that a lot of parents have to wrestle with and deal with, and it sounds like everything is on the right track. That's really cool.
Yeah, and you know, Rich, that's another aspect of this WBC tournament. You see so many different stories, so many people coming from different corners of the world, literally, and you hear some wonderful stories, and certainly want to acknowledge Harold and his son and their journey. Never easy when you have to deal with a child illness and a situation that's been great. Good for Harold.
You see the defense for Otto Lopez, and now you get into the part of the Canada lineup where you've got the youngsters somewhat. Lopez is 24, and many of these guys developed in Canada. You had the major leaguers, Freeman, O'Neill. Now you get Lopez. Toro, of course, is a big leaguer as well. Bo Naylor in there. Owen Casey's back in the lineup today. Jacob Robson is in that 9 spot.
Now, Otto Lopez got to the big leagues each of the last 2 seasons. Last year, he had 6 hits in 9 at-bats in a very limited role.
Urshela. Both pitchers look sharp.
Well, and that's really interesting. And we had talked about Team Canada. Starters in each of their first 2 games, but didn't get out of the first inning. So that put a lot of pressure on the depth of their bullpens. And Ernie Witt's very anxious to see how far his starter, Noah Skiro, can go here. Good start for Skiro. Got the double play to erase that 1-out walk.
Switch hitting Abraham Toro at the plate. The rosters and the lineups that these two managers have are very different. Canada has a ton of lefty bats, and Toro, somewhat in the middle of the lineup, is a switch hitter. Colombia has one true left-handed hitter and a couple switch hitters. And so their lineup really tilts right-handed.
Yeah, Ernie Witt has dealt with this throughout his 5 years as the manager of Team Canada. There's always a lot of lefty hitters on his roster, and there's an interesting aspect of why that's the case, Rich.
Well, look, J.P. Morosi and I went to the source, and that's always as somebody who lives right now in the Northwest and has done games in Canada and all that, it always seems that a lot of the lefty bats are the big sluggers in Canada. So we went to Larry Walker and we said, Larry, when you started playing hockey, left-handed, right-handed? And of course, Larry said left-handed shot, left-handed hitter. JP Morosi, that's a theme. And we asked Larry why, and he looked at us. He said, I've been thinking about this for 30 years, and I don't know. Right?
Well, Rich, it's a great question, one of those eternal questions in Canadian baseball. But my synopsis has always been, as I borrow a bit from hockey here, your dominant hand is typically on the top of the stick. And so that means you're a left-handed shot, and there's always been a predominance of Canadian hockey players who shoot left-handed. And naturally, if you shoot left-handed and play hockey first, you might be inclined to be a left-handed batter as well. There's no accident that whether it's Justin Morneau or Matt Stairs, Terry Poole, so many of the great Canadian players all bat left-handed.
Huh. And it's always struck me as the reason, but I thought Larry Walker would say, oh, yeah, absolutely. But even he didn't really have the definitive data, but said, yep, that's just the way it is. So I went to a younger Canadian player, Edouard Julien, who, as you know, and JP, you know, loves hockey, played hockey, might have ended up being a hockey player had he not fallen into baseball. Same thing, right-handed thrower. First thing he did when he picked up a hockey stick, left-handed shot.
When you think about it, especially for right-handed throwing hitters, that bottom hand is your right hand, and that's the dominant hand, and everybody always teaches use that bottom hand to get the barrel to the baseball, and that's why a lot of guys, and even big league players, right-handed throwers and left-handed hitters traditionally are pretty good hitters because they have that dominant right hand.
And here's Bo Naylor. Of course, a catcher, right-handed thrower, left-handed swinger.
I think one cheer that's advantageous for left-handed hitters, the majority of pitchers you're going to see, whether it's the minor leagues or the major leagues, are right-handed. So you've always got that breaking ball coming into you.
Naylor, that's a hot smash. Rodriguez makes a nice play, and Almeida gets there in time. 1-2-3 in the second for Adrian Almeida and Colombia. Scoreless with Canada.
Some of the all-time greats and current greats of Canadian baseball. All-time, in fact, 4 of the top 5 hitters in terms of home runs all bat left-handed in Canadian baseball history, Terry Poole being one of them. And interestingly, though, Russell Martin, actually on the coaching staff for this year's team, has the second most home runs among all Canadian right-handed hitters after only Jason Bay.
He still looks like he could play. I mean, I know we've said that. Jason Bay was a terrific player as well. Pittsburgh Pirates for most of his career.
Trail, BC, another West Coast guy.
Gonzaga University, I believe, for Jason Bay. Into the bottom of the second, Colombia here, 4-5-6. Elias Diaz, Reynaldo Rodriguez, Dilson Herrera. That is a strike from Noah Skiro, who got a 5-4-3 double play to work a 3-batter first. Diaz is doubled, knocked in 2 in the Classic. That's a strike.
Skiro started the season last year in Double-A with the Reading Fightin' Phils, and then he was promoted in September. So he's got some experience at the upper levels of the minor leagues. That wasn't his best slider. We'll see a better breaking ball than that.
Slow roller out to short. Otto Lopez quickly to first.
One thing Otto Lopez can do is he can really pick it. He can play short, he can play second, he can even fill in the outfield from time to time. But he's gaining an awful lot of confidence. Obviously, been with the Blue Jays parts of the last 2 seasons, and he was having a real good spring down in Dunedin with the Blue Jays. Actually swinging the bat very well right now.
Lopez moves so well out at shortstop, doesn't he, JP?
He really does. And interestingly, he shared this story about when he moved from the Dominican Republic to Montreal. He did play some floor hockey in gym class, and he told me his position in floor hockey was goalie. He said, they told me I had a good glove. We now know that. Otto Lopez has a good glove. They put him in goal in floor hockey. He felt pretty good, but baseball's certainly his sport. He confirmed he can skate. He's skated before, but baseball's certainly his game.
Well, he's got a good stick save, too. I mean, as Buck pointed out, he's 6 of 9 with the Blue Jays last year. Rodriguez swings and misses. Rodriguez, a veteran bat who was not supposed to be here originally. Tito Polo was a late scratch off the roster with visa problems. And Holbert Cabrera was going through his roster, said, no, we don't have Tito Polo. Almost in a disappointed way, swing and a miss. But then his eyes got really wide, and he said, but we've got Reynaldo Rodriguez to replace him. And boy, was he ever right, because Rodriguez had a big game, that first game in the upset over Mexico. He's the reason offensively they beat Mexico.
Yeah, he went 3 for 4 in that game. He drove in 3 runs, had a 2-run home run in the 5th inning. Here's the home run just off the foul pole down the left field line. In the 5th inning, that knocked in 3. No, check that, knocked in 2. There was an RBI double by Diaz ahead of him, and then he would hit the 2-run home run. He picked up an RBI in the 7th and had a base hit that set up the rally in the 10th.
That Colombia win was that was a terrific game. Of the games that we've seen so far, that was outstanding. And back and forth they went. Julio Urias was dominant. In fact, he was perfect in the first 4 innings. And that home run you just saw came in the 5th. Mexico had jumped to the lead, and then Colombia took the lead. They ended up in extra innings, and that's when Colombia got a run, and Mexico didn't. Skiro misses away. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, it was an error by the shortstop that allowed Alfaro to score in the top of the 10th, and Mexico couldn't do anything in the bottom half of that inning.
So I think that of the games that we've seen, that to me is the best game. The best scene was USA-Mexico.
Right.
And Mexico blew the doors off of USA in that one. And that scene and that night, maybe the most memorable night. The biggest surprise, obviously, yesterday.
Great Britain.
Great Britain, right?
Yep.
Beating this Colombia team who was, riding high after beating Mexico. That is strike 3 called. Noah Skiro. And for that matter, Adrian Almeida are on it today into the 3rd. Scoreless Canada and Colombia. Scoreless start, crucial game. Day 4 in Pool C. Canada and Colombia. And a big left-handed bat in the box. Owen Casey, just 20.
He's got a lot of power. He is from Burlington, Ontario, outside of Toronto. He went to Notre Dame High School in Burlington. Signed with the Cubs. Started out in Myrtle Beach. Low A ball, but he's got big power. He wasn't sure if it was a home run out of the park or it was in play, and he motored around the bases like it was an inside the park home run, but indeed it was ruled a home run out of the ballpark.
When in doubt, run hard.
Run hard all the time. No reason not to.
I'll tell you one thing that's important right now, Buck, is the pitch count for Almeida, because they would love to get him as far as he can go with 65 pitches. He's dominating the left-handed hitters of Canada right now.
Boy, he makes a great pitch with a breaking ball. That curveball down and away, and Owen Casey didn't have much of a chance. He's pitched well. That's 4 strikeouts so far for the lefty. Again, starting pitching. It's the backbone of baseball. Whether you're in the big leagues or whether you're playing a WBC tournament.
And in a WBC tournament, to me, starting pitching may be the most unpredictable aspect of either team. We've seen it, right? I mean, Adam Wainwright didn't look great. Cal Quantrill didn't get out of the first inning.
And then you have the flip side of that is Lance Lynn going 5 innings, striking out 6, and not walking a batter. Unpredictable. It's just so early in the season for starting pitchers to be locked in.
Almeida's already out in front of Robson, another lefty bat, 0-2.
Well, he's really just got to hang in there against that breaking ball. They're playing him to pull, which I don't understand. Lefty on lefty, you don't have much head-to-head information on these two, and if he can just hang in there and sit back on that breaking ball and slap it to the left side of the infield, he'll be on base.
That pitch is out, I mean, by a bunch. Almeida kind of walked off the mound like he thought he had the strike. Robson has poked the ball in that direction for a hit in this classic.
Yeah, big inviting gap over there. Urshela, the third baseman, is almost up the middle into shortstop position.
Wow, that's a strike, and it did catch the zone. When the ball lights up, that means it's in that strike zone, and that was right on the edge, around the knees and on the outside part of the plate.
Yeah, he's had a good breaking ball, and one time through the order, 5 strikeouts through 9 hitters, and well, I don't know, that one is way down, and let's take a look at it here. If it did touch the outside corner, it just nicked it.
Yep, it got both the outside corner and right at the knees. Julien now. He has a hit. He banged one into right center field. The shift on him isn't as dramatic as it is against Robson, but it still leaves a pretty big alley between Diaz, the second baseman, and second base. And Jairo Mendoza, the umpire out there, does not have a glove. And that's exactly where Julien went. And now you can see Frias actually moving into that spot.
I've always been fascinated by that move right there. And you see it often in the big leagues before the no shift ban that's going to be in play this next year. Is what has changed from the first pitch of the at-bat to the second pitch of the at-bat, and why are you shifting now? It makes no sense to me.
Well, maybe at times it's the coach on the bench getting to the scouting report and
think
maybe
he was late.
One pitch late. And say, or
timeout. Wait a minute, we're not set.
You and I both know that sometimes there's a really simple answer to the question. Or the shortstop wasn't paying attention and didn't see the coach frantically waving for him to take 10 steps to his left before that first pitch was delivered.
Yeah, that has happened, of course. We've seen that from time to time. But a lot of big league clubs used to flip those infielders after a pitch or two.
This is Edouard Julien's game. A single in the first, a walk here in the third. He's just got such great plate discipline, strike zone knowledge for a young player.
This is interesting. We talked about Elias Diaz, the catcher, being a big league catcher. Spent a lot of time with the Pirates and currently with the Colorado Rockies. Just going over Freddie Freeman again. Saying, okay, we got Freeman here. I know him. I catch behind him a lot. They're both in the National League West in Colorado and LA. So here's what I want you to do. And I don't know with a young pitcher like Almeida if you want to be so specific other than to say, listen, you got a good breaking ball right now. Just throw it with conviction the way you have to this point.
And again for Colombia, that pitch count up on the score bug in the left corner is at 47. 65 is his limit. And as good as he's looked against the lefty bats for Canada, Colombia wants all 65 of those pitches. Freeman going after the first pitch, pops it up. Urshela was shifted and has to come all the way over into foul ground and make the catch. Well, that's what Diaz said. Get this guy out with one pitch because we're going to need you in the fourth and the fifth.
Jay Urshela is at shortstop with the shift on Freddie Freeman, and he runs into foul territory, had a long run, made an easy play of it. But we're going to show you that because he has had a terrific reputation as a great defender.
Yordan Diaz. Noah Skiro has been really efficient. You see his pitch count is yet to hit 30 as he enters the third inning. It's the bottom third of the order for Colombia. That's at the knees and had plenty of the plate. JP Morosi, this youngster right now has settled in.
Well, Buck, you referenced earlier the unique journey of a player who was drafted in 2020, and that is exactly Noah Skiro's story. He had a 1.96 ERA at Liberty, and there was a really well-done piece done by Liberty University on Noah's journey in which he said that on the Sunday after the draft, that truncated draft, just 5 rounds, he wasn't picked on Saturday. By Sunday at 9:30 a.m., his phone had 23 voicemails from scouting directors interested in signing him, and of course he chose the Phillies. He is on his way to the major leagues.
There's a swing and a miss. Hey, for both you guys, I've always wondered now that they've reduced the number of rounds, what effect has that had on scouting? Not necessarily finding them, but also what you just described, signing these guys, because they're not in the draft, and all of a sudden if you've scouted them, you can get them. That's a liner into left field, and Mercado is aboard. Cut off there by Young. So how does that change the scouting and signing since there's so many free agents out there?
Yeah, and you make a great point because in general, scouting departments have been reduced dramatically, and you need eyes out in the field to watch these games. Liberty University is not a hotbed of baseball. It's in Lynchburg, Virginia, so these scouts are in attendance here. They put in a lot of time, and the best teams are the teams that have the extensive scouting departments that can get out to the Lynchburg Liberty game and see those guys in person and see what they're doing and why they're having success.
Diane Frias takes inside. JP, the game evolves, and this is one change over the last couple years.
You're exactly right. It speaks to the value of the MLB partner leagues, where there are players who are more experienced and can be signed into the higher levels of the minor leagues, and also the World Baseball Classic. Duque Hebert, who pitched for Nicaragua during this tournament, has already signed on his way out of the ballpark in Miami with the Detroit Tigers. It happened that quickly on that day. The scouts saw him, liked him. Hebert is now a member of the Tigers organization.
Did they get him before he got on the bus, or did they go on the bus with the contract?
I believe, Rich, as the story has been told, it was before he got to the bus, on his way out of the stadium. How about that?
That's pretty cool.
And that's why you see a large contingent of scouts here in Phoenix at Chase Field. You know, you never know when you're going to see somebody really catch your eye and say, okay, well, I got to call the office. Hey, there's this kid. I need to talk to him. Okay, give me some more information on his background. And back in their home office, they'll have information and scour the internet to see where he's played, where he comes from, where he went to school, how much experience he's had, and more importantly, whether or not he's been in affiliated ball in the past.
Frias takes a strike. He was about to toss the bat. Full count, 3-2. Let's see if Mercado might be in motion here at first base with one out. He's increased his lead. Leaning, running, swing and a miss. One hop throw. Oh, got him! How beautiful is that? Lopez with the pick on the nailer throw, and Canada gets a strike him out, throw him out, double play.
Well, we talked about what a great glove Otto Lopez has, and watch this throw. It's short hops, but Lopez is in great position to put the tag on the runner. Takes the short hop, puts the tag on the runner. Colombia is looking at the replay, but he is out. Clearly out, and Colombia won't appeal. What a terrific play by Otto Lopez to keep it scoreless. Mo Naylor made a quick release, but the throw is short of the mark, and he gets helped out by Otto Lopez. Look how Otto Lopez got in front of the bag and is able to take the short hop and put the tag on Mercado to end the inning. A strike him out, throw him out, double play. That is something that has really changed, is the positioning of the middle infielders when they take the throw at second because of instant replay. Close calls are abundant now with the advent of instant replay, and you can see he is in front of the base trying to make the tag before the runner ever gets to second. And they have really instructed the infielders, okay, you got to be aggressive and get to that position quickly. If the throw is offline, it's something you're going to have to do to get there and put the tag on the runner.
Here's Tyler O'Neill. And O'Neill, against the shift, knocks one into right field. Second time we've seen that from O'Neill here in the Classic. Canada has their leadoff man aboard in the fourth. Jared Young and Otto Lopez also coming up.
Yeah, O'Neill's had a good start to this pool here in Arizona. He's a good hitter. And, you know, he had a down season last year, anxious to bounce back for the Cardinals.
Almeida fires to first. This matchup for Colombia against Canada is one that Holbert Cabrera kind of circled on the schedule. Not only does he have a lefty starter, he has 5 lefties in the bullpen, including one that's warming up right now, San Martin.
Well, we had mentioned this going back to 2006 when I managed Team USA against Canada. My bench coach, John McLaren, gets the lineup from Ernie Witt, and he comes over to me and says, do you think Ernie knows that we're starting Dontrell Willis, the left-hander? He said, he's got all lefties in the lineup. I said, John, that's all they have.
And it hits Young. And so Almeida, who looks so good through the first 3, has given up a hit and dotted Young on the arm.
Well, and you take a look at this pitch, and you're hanging in there to guard against that breaking ball, and Young takes one off the elbow pad, and that'll bring the manager out of the Colombia dugout. He's making his way toward the mound. You're thinking about breaking ball, you're hanging in there against the lefty and get clipped on the elbow, and that's going to lead to a pitching change, Rich.
Aha, so one of the 5 lefties is coming in. They got 4 more left in there. Canada and Colombia. This is a crucial game for both at 1-1 on day 4 in Pool C of the World Baseball Classic.
Tim Leeper is the third base coach for Canada. He's been a big league third base coach and a first base coach in the past. And watch where he comes down halfway toward home to get the attention of Jared Young over at first. Hey, keep an eye on the runner ahead of you, which makes me think there's a chance they're going to bunt here. Now, as he does that, the runner at second base, Tyler O'Neill, would eventually run all the way over to first base to talk to Young and Larry Walker about this situation. And there goes O'Neill. He's going to run over there and say, hey, what's up here? What are we doing with Lopez?
Well, he's bunting, but it's foul. And so everyone needed to be on the same page.
Yeah, and Otto Lopez bunted 3 times this past winter in winter ball. And this is the same type of significant moment right now. I mean, this is a huge game for both of these teams. You get 2 on and nobody out. You got to move them up. And you have to bunt it toward the third baseman. Pull him away from the base.
O'Neill at second. Young's at first. Rodriguez is really coming in at first base, and he takes a strike. Looked like it missed in, but it was close enough to be a called strike. And so Lopez now is behind in the count 0-2.
That fastball, boy, it's a borderline strike if it is indeed a strike. Might have been off the plate.
Got him. Boy, it felt like Lopez was behind that whole at bat.
Well, and you know what? He had that first pitch to bunt. He fouled it off, and then They took the bunt off, and that's an off-speed pitch that sinks down and away, and he chases a bad pitch. Golden opportunity for Canada to make something happen here, and now they've got to have Toro come through with him. Don't want to hit it on the ground.
San Martin, who looked good the first time we saw him, and looks good right now.
San Martin pitched in the Mexico game. He came into the game late in that ball game.
0-1 pitch here. To center. Tagging at second. And holding there with Mercado making the catch.
There's your run if you get the bunt down. And it is so important. And when you play these tight games, and I don't care where you're playing, you've got to advance runners. You get a base hit, a hit batter. First and second, nobody out. Ernie Wood asked Otto Lopez to bunt on the first pitch. He fouled it off and then has a strike go against him. But boy, oh boy, fundamentals are so crucial in any type of baseball game, but especially when it's a scoreless game.
Well, here's Naylor, who bounced out back in the second. Going back to Lopez at bat, when you see that first bunt attempt as a manager, and you were one of the Blue Jays and in the World Baseball Classic, does that change your mind as to what you want to call after the count is 0-1?
Well, you have to be convicted to the play, and you have to make up your mind. It is a bunching situation. It looked like Ernie Witt felt something wasn't right after that first bunt attempt. But I mentioned Otto Lopez, very limited at bats in the big leagues, but he's had bunts in the minor leagues and in winter ball. He had 3 bunts playing for Escogido in the Dominican Republic this past winter. So he's done it before successfully. And that was a big moment for Canada. O'Neill singles. Young gets hit by a pitch, nobody out.
Young's at first. O'Neill's at second. There's 2 outs. And a sweeping breaking ball. It's 1-2.
Yeah, you made a great point about Colombia setting up their lineup with this game in mind. All the lefty bats, and they have plenty of left-handed arms down in their pen.
Raver San Martin in relief of Adrian Almeida. And time called. The veteran Elias Diaz on his way out to the mound.
Yeah, when San Martin pitched against Mexico, he came in the 7th inning and he faced Alex Trejo, the shortstop, and then Alex Thomas, a left-handed hitting center fielder, got a base hit off him and eventually came around to score. When he scored, San Martin was out of the game. The RBI base hit came off the bat of Verdugo against Pedro Garcia. That was in the 7th inning of their first game.
Now the 1-2. Naylor hits a fly ball into shallow right center. It's going to fall for a base hit. Canada's got a run. O'Neill scores. Young to third. He'll hold there. And it's 1-0.
Oh,
lefty on lefty. He got enough of it to just dump it in.
A good at bat by Naylor, and yeah, he didn't hit a rope, but he hit it into no man's land. They were shifting him around to right. The second baseman, Diaz, was out in shallow right field, but he couldn't get there. Naylor hits it off the end of the bat. And with 2 outs, everybody's moving on contact. O'Neill's going to come in to score. Young goes first to third, and Canada cashes in.
Here now is Casey. Of course, Naylor just had that double play, the strike him out, throw him out double play. On the one-hop throw, he's at first. Young's at third. Casey struck out against Almeida back in the third.
Way out in front of that off-speed pitch. Again, they're playing him dramatically to pull. And I know it's difficult, but as a hitter, you're looking up past the mound, and there is a gaping hole between Urshela and Frias. Lefty on lefty, and you just can't believe that Casey's not thinking about staying on the ball. If he throws me a breaking ball, all I got to do is make contact with it and drive it through the shortstop area.
2 outs. And the count 1-2.
San Martin has a very good changeup. That's what he struck out Lopez with. First out of the inning, and then he got Toro on a called strike first pitch, and then Toro flied out on the slider.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Urshela has changed his spot. He's just walked about 30 feet to his left, and you can see how far he is off the line now. He started this at bat probably about 20 feet off the line at third. That's out. He hit the glove, but the glove was set up out. And now the count's full at 3-2, and that means Naylor will move from first.
Big sweeping breaking ball well off the plate.
Raver San Martin. Got him. Strikes out Casey. But Canada's on the board. Couldn't get the bunt down. Needed a 2-out hit, and they got it from that guy, Bo Naylor. Throughout the Classic, we've talked about this young wave of Canadian talent that is headed to the big leagues. Some have already arrived in the big leagues. And then Casey, Brown, Clark, Julian, and Naylor. First pitch is a strike. And it's great to see now, but remember, this started a while ago, and this development program has built and built and built. And so these guys have been playing baseball and representing Canada for a long time. Ramirez hits one to left, hits it well, top of the wall. Herrera, and around first, Ramirez holds. I mean, he hit it hard, but he doesn't get to second. That's a long line drive single.
Yeah, leading off the inning after you've fallen behind, you cannot expect that you've hit it out. And you can see he's coming out of the box, keeping his eye on it, and then turns it on when he sees it hits the top of the fence. We have seen judgment by base runners when they think a ball is out of the ballpark. B.J. Murray of Great Britain cost his team a run when he thought a ball was hit out of the ballpark and he couldn't score with 2 outs from first base. Got to run everything out. Ramirez came out of the box in pretty good shape, but he was still looking at the ball in left field.
Noah Skiro, his 42nd pitch, and that backs Urshela off the plate.
Team Canada has turned 2 double plays. Alfaro bounced into a first inning double play, and then Bo Naylor had a strike him out, throw him out double play in the third.
Urshela swings and misses, and Skiro with a live fastball there. This is kind of moving day in Pool C, day 4. One of these two teams is going to get some separation headed into the final day tomorrow. Both are 1-1. Skiro and Urshela fouls it off.
Yeah, whoever wins this game will match USA with a 2-1 record. And then you look ahead, and Team Canada, of course, they will finish up with a night game against Mexico, and they have a tremendous history Colombia, they have not advanced much like Canada. They have never made it out of the first round. This is just the second WBC for Colombia. Canada has never advanced beyond the first round.
Two and a high pop-up. This might be a tough play. Freeman and Julian and Casey. They were all arriving at about the same moment.
That's not Freddie Freeman at first base.
I was just about to say that.
We just noticed that, and Urshela strikes out. For some reason, Freddie Freeman is out of the game, and that has caused a lot of different moves on defense. So it appears as though Young has come in from left field for Ernie Witt, and you've got to believe that there's some sort of physical issue with Freddie Freeman. So Freeman is out of the game. It looks like Young moves from left to first. Robson started in center with O'Neill the DH, and with that Denzel Clark is in center field defensively, and Robson moves to left.
Now Alfaro pops that one fouling out of play.
Obviously we don't have any information or communication as far as why Freeman's out. Maybe JP Morosi can get on that in the half inning. But obviously a big development for Team Canada to lose their former MVP and All-Star Freddie Freeman at this point.
Up the middle, that's where Canada's playing. Flip there, Lopez turn, pick there by Young. That's some nice defense.
3 double plays already for Team Canada, as Noah Esquiro has really neutralized the Colombian bats. A terrific double play. Otto Lopez finishes it off.
We'll see here in Phoenix. Jacob Robson shows bunt, takes a pitch, and the count's 0-1.
Robson has a bunt base hit in this tournament. He had that bunt against Great Britain.
That one is a strike, and very quickly the at-bat goes to 0-2. Edward Julian, and then Denzel Clark, who's now in Freeman's spot in the order, as it's 9-1-2 for Canada. That was quick.
Yeah, the lefties have really been tough on these lefty Canadian hitters. 8 strikeouts through 4 1/3. San Martin picks up his 3rd strikeout since coming into the game in the 4th.
And here's Julian, his first at bat against this lefty. Knocks it in the gap, into right center. Got to go to the wall. Julian racing for second, thinking 3 and holding it 2. Second hit. He's been on base all 3 times. And Canada's in business, but remember, it's not Freeman. Here comes Denzel Clark.
Julian is a terrific, good-looking young hitter. That was a breaking ball. He stays on it and gets it past the center fielder, Mercado. It goes into that triangle 413 feet away from home plate. Julian was thinking about third, but sees the throw hitting the cutoff man and pulls to a stop at second. As Rich said, he's been on base all 3 times.
Clark got a start last night against USA, and he gets hit here. And so Clark is on his way to first base, and that's going to bring Tyler O'Neill up against a lefty, which is a really nice matchup here for Canada, the way this has worked out.
And we're going to have a trip to the mound by the pitching coach. Walter Miranda is going to go out to the mound and have a chat and give the bullpen a chance to throw some down there in the pen. Boy, things have happened in a hurry. After the strikeout of Robson, Julian doubles, and Clark, in his first plate appearance, taking over defensively, gets hit by a pitch, and all of a sudden you've got Canada's best right-handed hitter to the plate. They already have a 1-0 lead.
Raver San Martin came in the fourth in relief of another lefty, Adrian Almeida. Almeida gave up a single, and he hit a batter to start that fourth inning. San Martin got 2 outs, got Lopez, got Toro, but Bo Naylor kind of muscled one into shallow right center field for a hit. That knocked in the run. Colombia has been shifting like crazy, is straight up in the infield for O'Neill.
O'Neill has been consistent in his at-bats. You see how they are slightly to pull. Rodriguez at first is way off the bag. Again, we talked about who controls at-bats. It's the guy that has the count in his favor. Romero loosening up down in the Colombia bullpen. But now O'Neill, once again, for a second straight at bat, has the count in his favor. He's in the driver's seat.
(2-0) in the dirt. Diaz gets a piece. Both runners move up.
Things speeding up now on San Martin. He gets on top of this changeup and bounces it in front of Diaz, and that's not a very good job by a big league catcher. He's got to keep that ball in front of him. And that takes Canada out of a double play situation, and now the infield is going to have to come in, and when the bases open at first, they put O'Neill on. Give him the intentional pass.
Holbert Cabrera wants another lefty-lefty matchup here. Bags loaded, 1 out. Young, who's now at first base, struck out in the first, hit by a pitch in the fourth. Lefty on lefty, infield's back, and that's ball 1.
Well, Young got to the big leagues with the Cubs. He homered for his first hit of the tournament in his first at bat yesterday, last night's game against USA.
Breaking ball, high pop-up, shallow center. Mercado is in. That's Julian at third, and that's not deep enough to even try it. And so San Martin wins that battle. Colombia has a precious out. And Otto Lopez will be the hitter.
Young just didn't hit it deep enough to take a chance, and we're going to have a pitching change here. Right-handed hitting Otto Lopez at the plate, and the call has already been made. Holbert Cabrera will go to the right-hander down in the pen.
And that right-hander, John Romero, is coming in. 1-0. Canada trying to add on in the fifth. 1-0 Canada. The Larry Walker fan club is in attendance.
They got all of his unis there.
Yeah, they do.
Cardinals, Expos, Dodgers, Rockies. Pretty cool. We met those guys last night walking back to the hotel.
I must have taken a dozen pictures of you and Blue Jay or Expo or Canadian baseball fans. It was a really fun walk home. And it's a big moment for Canada here. Such a crucial game. And a 1-0 Canada lead.
John Romero gave up a 2-run home run to Randy Arozarena in the game against Mexico.
Julian at third, O'Neill at second. Or excuse me, O'Neill at first. With Clark at second. And Romero's pitch. Diaz has had trouble blocking the ball. And he smothers that one.
Prior to joining Team Canada, Otto Lopez had a good run with the Blue Jays in spring training, and you can see what Romero did with the Twins. Just 5 innings in the big leagues. San Martin out of the game. The runner's on base, his responsibility.
And there's 2 outs. Pitch misses in.
Lopez in spring training with the Blue Jays, 7 for 15 with 3 RBIs. He has a double and a triple. He's also walked a couple of times.
John Romero, 2-0 pitch. Slow tapper towards third. Urshela kind of got tied up with the runner, but gets the ball across in time to get the out. Little tricky play for a really good Major League third baseman, Gio Urshela. And Colombia holds the line. It's 1-0 Canada.
Canada leads, but Canada is concerned as well. Let's go back to the 3rd inning. The final swing of Freddie Freeman, and you can tell running gingerly to first base, a sign of some discomfort there. We are told it is a slight hamstring issue. You see Freddie not able to run full speed, Rich. He's obviously always running full speed, and that raised some alarms immediately. So the hamstring concern for Freddie is the reason he is out of the game. Young to first, and Clark now entering. So if Canada's going to come back and win this game and hold this 1-0 lead, it's going to be without their MVP.
That's obviously a real blow there. Casey makes the catch in right field. Noah Skiro on the mound has been terrific for Canada. He has an out here in the 5th. His pitch count is right at 50, so they can squeeze another 15 pitches, maybe another inning and a third or an inning and a half.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. 2 hits, no runs through 4 1/3 against a pretty potent Colombian lineup. They've done a good job of keeping the ball away from Reynaldo Rodriguez. They struck him out on a slider back in the 2nd.
That is strike 2. He's pounding the zone, facing a veteran of international play, Reynaldo Rodriguez. Dilson Herrera's on deck. There's your pitch count, 65. Canada would love to get him right up against it. They'll pop up, and it's caught there. Nice running catch. Casey went a long way to get it right on the line.
Boy, I can't tell you how impressed I have been with Noah Skiro, the way he has handled this ball game. He walked a batter, second batter he faced in this game, and then erased that with a double play. And look at the effort by Owen Casey, just inside the foul line. That's a fair ball. He got a long run from his position, but he makes the catch. And J.P. Morosi made a great point. If Canada's going to win this, they're going to have to do it without their former MVP, Freddie Freeman.
That one fouled back to the screen from Dilson Herrera, who homered late in the ball game against Great Britain. Pinch hit home run.
It earned him the right to start this game. That came in the 9th inning. So now, Rich, if you're young Mo Naylor, he's just 23, calling the pitches for a young pitcher who just pitched 4 games in AAA last year, what you want to do is stay away from his power. Keep him in a big part of the field. Pitch him away. Whatever you do, just pitch him away.
That's away.
Now you have the ability to throw a good fastball down and away. This is a spacious ballpark, center field, right center, a lot of room out there for your outfielders, and you got a terrific defender in center in Denzel Clark. Tremendous speed.
Two balls and 2 strikes. It would be interesting to hear exactly where Freddie Freeman felt he injured that, whether it was on that swing or whether it was before that at bat. Again, Casey's over, and again, Casey makes the play. All 3 outs over there. Noah Skiro has been outstanding for Canada in a big, big game on day 4. Pool C Souvenir in Phoenix.
A lot of smiling faces, a lot of proud hearts at Chase Field right now. Rio Gomez is on the mound, a graduate of Desert Vista High School, not far from here. The son of our beloved late colleague Pedro Gomez, and his mother Sandy Gomez is here watching. Sandy, born in Bogota, Colombia. It was years ago, Rich, that Pedro Gomez, our amazing colleague, had shared with Holbert Cabrera that Rio would be able to pitch for him one day in the World Baseball Classic. And now it's here. And I can tell you this, there are a lot of smiling faces and probably a lot of tears in that press box right next to all of you because of how much all of us love Pedro and how much Rio's story means to all of us.
Yeah, lumps in throats. It's a short, Frias. And one of those might be Holbert Cabrera, because JP, when he was telling us three about that situation, he said, man, he just got goosebumps when he was able to make it happen. When he joined the team, he said he just thought back to that conversation. And, you know, when he had that conversation, it was, yeah, that'll be kind of cool. And then now it's like, here he is.
Yeah, it's tremendous. And Pedro is such a terrific person, and not even to mention what a great reporter he was. And he knew baseball inside and out and absolutely loved it.
And he saw the hometown of Miami, but the Gomez here in Arizona, and he went to the University of Arizona, was a late round pick by Boston, but he's had a nice run in the minor leagues as well. Bouncer, backhanded, Rodriguez, Gomez out at first.
A couple of years ago at the World Series, we had a great dinner at a restaurant right across from the ballpark. Bob Nightingale, Jason Stark, Scott Miller, Eduardo Perez, myself, and Pedro Gomez. And we have a picture of that, and I struggled to find it, but it was one of the greatest nights talking about baseball with great friends and people that have been in the game a long time. And Bob Nightingale is here covering this event, and it means a lot to an awful lot of us to see Rio Gomez in this game.
Owen Casey is the hitter. It's the 6th inning, and Canada has a 1-0 lead. Casey is sick of seeing left-handers because he has struck out against a couple different ones already.
I talked to Larry Walker about Casey. I said, man, he's got a lot of pop. He says, yeah, he's got a lot of pop, but he's going to have to learn how to hit that breaking ball, especially the breaking ball from left-handed pitchers. But that's the challenge, of course, for any good hitter as you make your way higher and higher through the ranks. Owen Casey is 20 years old, and he's got a bright, bright future. He's got tremendous power to all parts of the field. He went to high school at Notre Dame High School in Burlington, Ontario, and then with the Cubs, he played at South Bend. How cool is that? Notre Dame High School to South Bend, Indiana.
That is cool.
I knew you'd like that.
That is a strike. I like it. Rio Gomez trying to get a 1-2-3 inning. Mom on the edge of her seat.
You know, this tournament, and once again, you know, you think about all the great matchups, and USA playing Japan many years ago, USA matching up against Venezuela, Dominican, but some of these games like Colombia, Canada can be riveting.
It's out, and Casey works a walk. Robson in the 9 spot due up for Canada.
It's only the 3rd walk issued by Colombia, an intentional walk to Tyler O'Neill last inning. They punched out 8 Canadian batters in this game so far as we work here in the 6th.
And, I mean, look, it is obviously a great story, especially for him to pitch in the World Baseball Classic here in this town. But he's earned it. I mean, his minor league career of 5 seasons, an ERA of 3.27, almost all relief appearances, just 4 starts.
He's with Boston, and you know what? It's interesting, and you're right. He went to high school not very far from here. And one of his high school teammates, Tyler Visa, started the game for Great Britain that they would go ahead and win yesterday afternoon. I mean, just think about the chances of that happening. 2 high school teammates playing in a World Baseball Classic for 2 different countries.
And not the U.S., right? Playing for 2 different countries in the same pool. I mean, it's tough enough to get on one of these rosters. 2-1 pitch. Got him with a swing there, and it's 2-2. Robson with the cut. He struck out twice. The pitching for Colombia has been really, really good. The pitching for Canada has been outstanding, and that's Noah Skiro, who has gone 5 innings and not given up a run, and just the 2 hits. Now the 2-2. Swing and a miss. What a moment. Rio Gomez, son of Pedro, back in Phoenix.
Rio Gomez getting his first inning of work, and it was an impressive. He had a walk and a strikeout. That's Walter Miranda, the pitching coach for Colombia, and they are both in the Boston Red Sox organization. Miranda is the pitching coordinator for the Red Sox, and he knows Rio Gomez very well.
That's a really cool moment, too. Just the fact that they're in the Red Sox organization, teamed up for Colombia. It's always great to have a familiar voice and a familiar face. Curtis Taylor, right-hander, in for Team Canada. Fastball is up. Noah Skiro, 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs. So Taylor takes the baton. And they're trying to get this game to the back of the bullpen. Yordan Diaz fouls it back.
Yeah, Matt Brash down in that bullpen. He is the hard-throwing right-hander from the Seattle Mariners. They would love to have a lead and turn things over to Matt Brash late in the game. He's only a 1-inning pitcher, so you got to get him to the 9th.
Mercado and Frias, bottom third of the order for Colombia. Boy, busy afternoon out there for Casey. In that same spot, makes the catch. All 3 balls in the 5th inning were out there.
Well, and the biggest thing is it's going back to the tone that Noah Skiro set. Great breaking ball all day long. He spotted his fastball very well. Skiro had 3 double plays turned behind him, including that strike him out, throw him out in the 3rd inning. He strikes out Gio Urshela in the 4th. A terrific 5-inning effort by Noah Skiro.
As you pointed out, Canada got virtually nothing out of their starters their first 2 starts.
1 inning combined between Mitch Bratt and Cal Quantrill. 1 inning, and what a job Skiro has done. Got the AAA last year, made 4 starts in AAA for the Phillies. But I want to go back to all the fly balls to right field. You've been talking about it. You don't know an awful lot about the Team Colombia hitters. When in doubt, go down and away. I don't care who you're playing. It's always a safety net. I can always go down and away and get a pretty good result if I can locate my pitches down and away, right-handed or left-handed. That's the toughest pitch for hitters to get to because it's the furthest pitch from their eyes. And they have to really fight physically to get to that ball and hit it hard.
So that was your default for your many years
When in doubt,
behind the plate.
go down and away.
2-1 pitch to Mercado. And it's a fastball up.
When I was in Milwaukee, first-year manager was George Bamberger, who was the terrific pitching coach for that great Baltimore Orioles staff. Denny Boucher is the pitching coach for Team Canada, and they have put together a heck of a game plan here against Colombia.
3-1, foul back, and the count's 3-2.
Another thing that you're doing when you're pitching away from hitters, you're forcing them to put the ball in the biggest part of the field. And there's a lot of room out there in center and right center in this ballpark.
Curtis Taylor is 27 out of UBC, the University of British Columbia.
Time!
Time is called. 6 minor league seasons with the Diamondbacks, the Rays, and the Nationals. Got to AAA in 21 and in 22. Has signed a minor league deal with the Cubs. And pitching here against Colombia. Sharp ground ball out to short. Lopez on to first. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the World Baseball Classic Incorporated may not be reproduced, retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Chase Field, the roof has been closed all week in order to make every game in terms of atmosphere and look and feel uniform. Up the middle into center field. Frias
Here you go.
has a 2-out hit.
Time out. Here you go.
Frias hitting into the ninth spot for Colombia. Had a great game against Great Britain. They drove in 2 runs in the 4th inning and added a second hit, and here he picks up his first hit, just the 3rd hit of the game for Colombia. Lopez was shaded up the middle, but it's past him into center. A 2-out single, and that's a big at bat as it turns the lineup over.
Here's Ramirez. 1 for 2. Drives that ball to center field, hits it pretty well. Clark goes back, has room at the track. He makes the catch. Canada hanging on to a 1-0 lead in a crucial game of the World Baseball Classic. Colombia and Canada. 7th inning, top of. And this game looks nothing like the games that these two teams played yesterday. Canada was blown out by USA. Colombia had a lead, lost it, and then lost to a heavy, heavy underdog in Great Britain. And here they are in a nail-biter, a 1-0 game with just 7 hits between them. Julien pulls it foul.
Yeah, and both teams understand the significance of this game. If they win it, they go to 2-1 with 1 more game left. Jesus Mariaga has taken over in left field. At this point of the game, Dustin Morel got the start, but he is not the defender that Mariaga is. Mariaga is a terrific defender, and in this 1-0 game, they choose to go for the glove and not the bat.
That is strike 3 called. Julien, who'd been on base all 3 times, retired to open up the 7th. And mom having a good time watching her son Rio Gomez.
Boy, the breaking ball has been very effective for these lefty Canadian or Colombian pitchers, and they've used it very well. That's 9 strikeouts now for Team Colombia. Rio Gomez, boy, he does his job. An inning and a third, 2 strikeouts and a walk, and nothing more.
Look at that, just a smile. Hi, Mom. Just a very, very cool moment. Back in Phoenix, and a right-hander out of the bullpen now for Colombia.
Pedro Garcia pitched against Mexico in the first game for Colombia and gave up an RBI single to Alex Verdugo. An extra run for Mexico. as that tied the game up at that point, 4-4, bottom of the 7th.
Denzel Clark, nobody on, and 1 out. High pop, and it's out of play. If you've just joined us, this is the 2 spot in the order for Canada. Freddie Freeman started there. Freeman was 0 for 2 on a pop-up in the 3rd. He wasn't running real well, and he was removed with a hamstring issue.
And obviously Ernie Witt was not going to leave him in the ball game when he was less than 100%, so he has been taken out. Jared Young has taken over defensively at first base, and Young is a natural first baseman, so he's played a lot of first base. But he's not Freddie Freeman.
No. And it wasn't a case where Freeman stopped and grabbed his hamstring. It was just an uncomfortable run from home plate to first. One and 2.
Denzel Clark, as Rich mentioned earlier, got the start against USA. He struck out all 3 times he came up.
Check swing. Did he go? No. That's Alan Porter down at first.
Clark is 6'5", and he's just 22 years old. He was born in Toronto. He actually played at Cal State Northridge, and he could have been called for his swing right there, but he got the benefit of the doubt. One of the best athletes on Team Canada.
Fastball in.
He played on the under-18 national team, junior national team for Team Canada, and he played against the Blue Jays twice as a teenager. It's always a great thrill for the junior national team to face the Blue Jays down in Dunedin during spring training.
That one fouled out of play. Here's a look at that at bat in the 3rd inning for Freddie Freeman.
Freeman hitting, and you can see very gingerly coming out of the box, and he felt something, and you can see he's not going to force the issue. He popped out. Freeman would finish 0 for 2 in his only 2 at-bats in this game.
That's a nice at bat for Denzel Clark. You got O'Neill coming up now before you get to Jared Young. Obviously, Ernie Witt would like to add a run here and get a little more cushion to try to get to Matt Brash at the back of the bullpen.
A run or 6.
Yes. Breaking ball for a strike. Opens the at-bat of Tyler O'Neill, who has another hit in this game. Has 6 hits in 9 at-bats in the Classic. Has knocked in 4. Has a double. He sprayed the ball over the place. Runner goes. Big jump. Throw down. And into center field it goes. Clark takes a peek. Mercado scoops it up. That's a stolen base.
Denzel Clark was 30 for 33 in steals last year, playing in the minors with the Oakland A's. And he had a great jump. He's got tremendous speed. In his minor league career, although it's very brief, he has 31 steals, been caught just 6 times. He's going to learn to look to the outfield first and not to home plate. He takes a look at home plate, beats the throw into second, and now he's in scoring position with 1 out for Tyler O'Neill.
Garcia checks him.
This is interesting because after the wild pitch back in the 5th inning, first base was open and they put O'Neill on. But because they have just brought Garcia into the game, he's got to face 3 batters, and you would force him to face Young, a left-hander, in the next at-bat if you were to walk O'Neill.
That one almost got away from Diaz.
We mentioned Clark with his speed, and watch how he slides in safely, and then he turns and looks at home instead of looking to center. And he looked out there initially. He might have been able to get up and advance over to third. Just little things that he'll learn as he gains more experience. Look to the outfield first.
Two, and he got him. O'Neill, foul tip. Diaz held it, and by holding it, a strikeout for Garcia, a big out for Colombia.
Boy, just a fastball out over the plate. O'Neill was surprised. All he could do was tip it in. Diaz held onto it. Yeah, I got it, and you're out.
Now Young, 0 for 2 in this one, homered last night. Anything in the outfield is going to score Clark. The outfielders are playing very deep, and obviously he's got great speed.
Canada has stranded 8 base runners. They are just 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Haven't taken advantage of their opportunities.
11 strikeouts today. Into center field. Diving catch. Mercado. Run-saving catch. In a big game. Canada 1, Colombia nothing. 7th inning stretch in Phoenix. That is a heck of a play. Bottom 7, Gio Urshela, and Urshela takes out to open this inning.
This is the biggest inning for Canada to face this part of the order here in the 7th. Urshela, Alfaro, and Diaz.
If anybody reaches, Reynaldo Rodriguez. That one fouled back. Curtis Taylor took over in the 6th, gave up a hit, and that's it. Urshela has not had a great classic. He's 0 for 9.
These are 3 big league hitters in a row to start this 7th inning for Colombia.
Taylor misses away. Just 3 hits without a run is Colombia. Just 4 hits, but with 1 run is Canada. Canada has had a lot more traffic on the bases. They left 9. Colombia just 1. Ooh. That one really came in on him.
Fastball, he tried to get a little extra on it and lost his release point. It runs up and in on Urshela. Now it's the 3-1 count.
3 double plays for Canada. High pop-up. Naylor tosses the mask, finds the ball, makes the play. And we check in with JP Morosi.
A 1-0 game, tense for a manager, tense for the family of a manager. Cordy Cabrera, the wife of Holbert Cabrera, is here in attendance today. And when I spoke with Cordy earlier today, she said that what she admires most about her husband, the manager, is his positivity, and also, Buck, the fact that in his playing career, he was a utility player. He had to relate to every different job on the roster, which makes him a really good communicator with every player on the roster now that he's managing.
A very good point, and he understands everybody's not a star, and you got to treat them all equally.
Jorge Alfaro, a swing and a miss. Now Alfaro has bounced into 2 of the double plays. The other double play was a strike him out, throw him out, when Naylor threw down to second, and Lopez had that great pick and tag.
You've got to really focus on pitching away to Alfaro. Tremendous power hitter, and we have talked about how well that has served the Canadian pitchers here today. Keep them in the big part of the yard. Don't give him anything he can pull.
1-1, a chopper over the mound. Julian waiting, firing. Oh, that's close. Safe. And certainly a review is a distinct possibility here.
It is an infield base hit. Tim Leeper checking, and it looked like he said he was out. Take a look at the play. Bang, he is out. Ball's in the mitt of the first baseman Young before the foot hits the bag, and they're going to have a look at it. Tim Leeper never hesitated. Once he heard from the replay review room, he said he's out. And they turned and they'll ask for the appeal. And you can see Curtis Taylor, he saw it from a very good perspective. Look at the hustle by Alfaro. I mean, this guy's a catcher, and he is doing everything he can to beat the throw, and initially he's called safe. Julian took a peek at the runner, saw he was hustling up the line, and rushed his throw just in time to get Alfaro. But we're waiting for the review, and he is called out. Bang, bang, he is in the air as that first baseman Young catches the ball. 2 big outs for Canada.
They get closer to the 9th and closer to Matt Brash.
The ball doesn't have to be secure into the glove. It just enters and hits that leather, and it's considered a catch. The foot is in the air at that point.
And when replay first started, that's a strike to Diaz. That's a change from the interpretation. It used to be back of glove, and then it was changed to enter the glove, which sounds like a Spinal Tap album, right?
But I got to tell you, I've been impressed with the pitching, obviously, by Canada. But how about the job Bo Naylor has done as a 23-year-old with very limited big league experience? He has done a terrific job behind the plate today, driving the bus.
Very reminiscent of Great Britain's Harry Ford in the win over Colombia early yesterday.
These experiences are invaluable to young players on their path to the big leagues.
0-2 is in the dirt.
I mean, you're playing for your country. You're trying to advance and get to the second round for the first time in history for Team Canada. And you've got a 23-year-old catcher doing a heck of a job in this tight game.
And I know 2 teams out of Pool A advance with a 2-2 record, but the loser of this game I don't think has much of a chance at all of getting out of Pool C. Roller out to short. Lopez on the run. That's a nice inning for Curtis Taylor. On to the 8th. Canada holding on to this 1-0 lead. All right, here's why this game is so crucial. Later today, Great Britain and Mexico. Tomorrow, another huge one for Canada. They've got Mexico, and the United States takes on Colombia.
Yep.
And the Pool C standings. USA is not playing. They're 2-1. Mexico has the tiebreak over USA. USA has the tiebreak over Canada. Colombia has the tiebreak over Mexico. How about that?
Well, we talked about this at the outset of this tournament. Mexico has 4 big league starters. Taijuan Walker is scheduled to pitch tonight against Great Britain, and then Jose Urquidy is in line to pitch against Canada on Wednesday afternoon.
Lopez lines it in the gap, right center, and he can run. Ramirez up with it. On his way to third. Otto Lopez.
Boy, oh boy, there was a bobble by the cutoff man in right center, and there are the Moose Antlers. Celebration for Otto Lopez, and he has really come into his own with the bat. He's had a lot of strength. He knows this is 2 for sure and maybe 3. Takes a look at the outfielder, hustles around at third base. Tim Leeper is telling him to hold up here, but then there was a bobble, and the cutoff man bobbles it. Watch the relay from the outfielder, Ramirez. throws it to the cutoff man, and then he bobbled it. But it wasn't at a point where they could continue to hustle around third, so Lopez stops at third, and that'll bring the infield in.
Abraham Toro against Pedro Garcia. Check swing, and it's foul. The count is 0-1, so the infield is in. Bo Naylor, Owen Casey, right behind Toro.
How about these two, Lopez and Toro from Quebec, with a chance to pad the Canadians' lead?
Oh, 2. Remember, Freddie Freeman out. The hamstring issue, removed from the game midway through. Canada trying to add on here. Just a fastball that he threw by him at 94.
Upstairs with the heater, it's the strikeout. And we had mentioned Team Canada 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position, now 1 for 10. High fastball. Tough to take that pitch with 2 strikes. Canada has stranded 9 base runners to this point in this 1-0 game.
Naylor's base hit with 2 outs in the 4th. Knocked home the only run of the game. Infield still in. Oh, 1. It's Naylor's only hit of the Classic. Great speed at third with Lopez. If anything gets by Elias Diaz. That's a strike. Dotted the corner.
Lopez at third with the infield in. Leaper's giving him instructions. It's very difficult to go on contact with the infield drawn in, and I don't think he's running on contact because he broke back toward the bag when that ball hit the hitting zone. Boy, this is a tough one for an infielder. I mean, obviously, if you can get the infielders who are playing in to move laterally, you might have a chance to score, but it's tough with the infield drawn in to go on contact here with 1 out.
Oh, 2, swing and a miss. Garcia, big strikeout. The triple by Lopez, a pair of strikeouts. And now Owen Casey, who's 0 for 2 with a walk and 2 Ks.
Another fastball up, maybe out of the zone upstairs, but a very tough pitch to square up. Big strikeout, back-to-back strikeouts by Garcia. Casey can hit a fastball.
That's a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
He can handle the heater, and he certainly has the ability to hit to all fields. Ocampo loosening up for Colombia.
Liner, base hit. Canada gets the run in.
I told you Casey can hit a fastball, and he is confident enough to use the whole field. Hit a home run against Great Britain, and now he drives in the second. You can see that was a fastball. You could see him tell Larry Walker, "Hey, Walk, I got on the heater, man." What a great swing by Owen Casey, the 20-year-old.
Big run. And now you got Robson, who has struck out 3 times.
All 3 strikeouts coming against left-handed pitchers.
He had a great first game. He's taking a peek down that third baseline. Urshela is deep and off the line. Counts 2-0.
The outfield basically straight away. Second baseman Diaz shaded to pull on the edge of the dirt.
That's a strike.
Casey doesn't have great speed, the base runner at first base. So he's got to really break on contact. Anything that Robson hits, Casey's got to be hustling towards second base. He's not as fast as some of his teammates.
Garcia 2-1.
See, here's a situation. If you're Garcia, you don't want to go to 3-2, which guarantees Casey an opportunity to get a running start. So you want some sort of decision here on this pitch. You don't want to go to 3-2.
Casey at first. Robson takes ball 4.
That's not the kind of decision he wanted.
Hobert Cabrera on his way out, and it looks like he's headed to the bullpen again. Canada got a run in the 4th. They've had tremendous pitching and exceptional defense. And here they've added on in the 8th. A 2-0 lead over Colombia.
This, Rich and Buck, can be a watershed day in Baseball Canada history.
Yeah, Edward Julien is 2 for 3 as well, a double and a single.
And they all played in that program under the guidance of Greg Hamilton, who is coaching on this team. Greg Hamilton has done a great job building up that program. Here's Carlos Ocampo. 3 different levels last year, just a total of 4 games and 13 innings.
Julien doubled in the 5th. First and second here. 2 outs in the 8th. Who is going to get to the final day of pool play here with a 2-1 record? Is it Canada with a 2-0 lead, or does Colombia have a comeback in them? Check swing, little roller. That's going to be trouble. That's going to be a hit. Holding third with an aggressive turn is Casey.
Julia can really run. That's his 3rd hit of the game. He singled in the 1st, doubled in the 5th, and now he has an infield hit. Because the defense is playing him so deep at second, the shortstop has to come over, and he has no play. And Frias alertly looks at third. Little check swing roller towards second base. Julian's going to beat it out. And the bases are full. Casey watches the play unfold, and he's got to hold his ground at third, but all hands are safe.
So 3 hits for Julien. He's got 5 in the Classic. And here's Clark for his 3rd plate appearance, though he doesn't have an official at bat. He's been walked and he's been hit.
Well, Clark's cousin, Bo Naylor, drove in the 1st run of the game back in the 4th, and he would love to follow suit here.
Canada has him filled. Ocampo.
Oh, that's in.
You know, here's another thing that I've been impressed with. You mentioned that Clark drew a walk his last time up. There's not a whole lot of panic in these young hitters at the plate. And this is a big situation. You know he wants to get something done, but he took a close pitch inside for ball 2.
2-0. Ocampo at 96.
And as J.P. Morosi pointed out, all of these youngsters have experienced world championship action as under 18-year-old players for the Canadian junior national team.
2-1. Up the middle. Frias, the flip, inning over, but a huge run for Canada.
Canada has a 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the 8th, and they've done it without their MVP, Freddie Freeman. He had 2 at-bats in this game, and he pops up in his second at-bat in the 3rd inning. Then he takes his position defensively at 3rd and sensed something wrong with his right hamstring. He would leave the ball game, and Canada has taken a 2-0 lead basically without Freddie Freeman.
New pitcher, Trevor Brigden, who throws a strike.
It's not high.
to Reynaldo Rodriguez. Dilson Herrera, Yordan Diaz follow for Colombia.
And you saw Ernie Witt, and if you think these opportunities are easy, you are sadly mistaken. You've got pitch counts, you've got restrictions thrown at you by the players' organizations. Lots of things a manager has to think about. This first pitch to Reynaldo Rodriguez, he thought it was up and it was called a strike, and he didn't agree with that at all. And he let the umpire know. Doug Eddings behind the plate.
Rodriguez is struck out, popped out, and Brigden misses away. And your point is a great one. It's hard for a manager in these games to get it set up just this way. If Brigden can get you to brash in the 9th, you've got your closer for that 1 inning. With pitch restrictions and all of that, that's a delicate dance. And that's a strike, a live fastball in the outside corner.
Going back to the 4th inning, the Canadian pitchers have retired 11 of 12.
There's the first out of the 8th inning. Rodriguez, Brigden in relief of Curtis Taylor, who was outstanding, in relief of Noah Skiro, who was dominant through 5 innings.
This has been one of the most dominant pitching performances for Team Canada in WBC play.
Villarreal will pinch hit. Maybreeze Villarreal. And a breaking ball misses inside.
Brigden is 27. He's from North York, Ontario. Just outside of Toronto. He played college baseball at Okanagan College in the beautiful Kelowna Valley, Kelowna, BC. Drafted by the Rays in 2019 in the 17th round.
Villarreal is pinch hitting for Herrera. He's the only true lefty bat that Colombia's got off the bench. Two balls, 2 strikes. That's strike 3 called.
Boy, what a job. 2 strikeouts that's coming into the game, and they have done a terrific job of pitching today. Breaking ball, and the pinch hitter takes it, and it catches the bottom of the strike zone. That was a strike all the way.
Ground ball, Julian. Great start from Skiro, check. Build the bridge by Taylor, check. Set up by Brigden, check. Matt Brash is ready for the 9th. Canada 2-0. 9th inning has arrived. Crucial game for Canada and Colombia. 1 day left in Pool C in the World Baseball Classic, and a 2-0 Canada lead into the 9th. Tyler O'Neill takes outside. Jared Young, Otto Lopez will follow. Breaking ball misses away. This has been a tight game throughout. And Canada has the man they want in the 9th inning ready to roll.
Brash, big closer. Exactly what they wanted. I mean, if they could have written out a script, this is exactly how they wanted to write it out. Get to Matt Brash with the lead in the 9th.
Ernie Witt.
Danny Boucher, the pitching coach, at his side.
They have another one tomorrow against Mexico. And obviously there's history between those two in the World Baseball Classic.
Mexico plays Great Britain later on tonight, so you anticipate they will go into that game, if this game holds up, each 2-1.
That means that game would hold a ticket to Miami. Into left and a base hit.
Timeout.
And O'Neill is aboard. That's Ramirez out in left. He moved over from right. And in that spot originally where Mariaga was, Campero is now in right.
Desan Brown has come off the bench to run for Tyler O'Neill. O'Neill 2 for 4 today with a walk and a run scored.
And he's got speed, lots of it.
Desan Brown is in the Blue Jays system as well.
21-year-old, Oakville, Ontario. The scouting scale, 80 is the best. He has 80 grade speed.
Yeah, there's a lot of speed on this team. We talked about Denzel Clark earlier, Edouard Julien, and now their fastest runner, Desan Brown.
Jared Young. Up the middle, that's into center field. Brown holding at second.
Timeout.
Jared Young gets a big base hit. They were playing the shift on him, and he just hit a ground ball almost straight away to shortstop. It goes into center field. He stays on that pitch. It's down and away and drives it up the middle. That's his first hit of the afternoon, the 9th hit for Canada.
Otto Lopez now. Lopez tripled in the 8th.
Do you ask him to bunt again? They tried that back in the 4th inning. Not showing bunt.
Drive to left. That ball's deep. That ball's gone. 3-run shot. Oh, Canada. 5-0. That's better than a bunt, Buck.
Much better than a bunt. Otto Lopez tripled and scored in the 8th inning, and now he comes up with the biggest hit of the ball game. A capper. A 3-run home run here in the 9th inning.
Toro lifts one in the air. In shallow right center, and Mercado makes the catch.
Otto Lopez, we told you he was having a great spring with the Blue Jays, and he's added to his resume with a 3-run home run here in the World Baseball Classic.
Last year in Buffalo, he hit just 3 home runs. Here in Phoenix, that's a huge home run. Canada trying to get to tomorrow at 2-1 and a showdown with Mexico. Fastball's up and in.
Ernie Wood looking down in that bullpen. Now it's 5-0. Do you still go with Matt Brash? No, you don't. Scott Matheson, the veteran.
With Brash on speed dial.
That's exactly what has happened.
You know, the nuance of tournament play, you go back to last night. Ernie Witt facing Team USA. Mitch Bratt, the 19-year-old, got the start, and it didn't go well. R.J. Frewer came in. That didn't go well. Together, they gave up 12 runs. And they lost that game to Canada. But Ernie Witt knew that coming into this game, if he had the right guys available, he could get to Mexico and have the right guys available for that. So while last night was hard to wear it, it's paid off today because it couldn't have gone any better pitching-wise for Canada as Naylor goes down.
And going back to the 7th inning, we had mentioned what an important inning that was for Curtis Taylor. Urshela, Alfaro, and Diaz. Now, with the prospects of not having to face those guys one more time, you're facing 8, 9, and 1. And you might never have to deal with them again.
Owen Casey had a big hit back in the 8th. An add-on run, a 2-out single. And the enthusiasm has been drained from the Colombia dugout. Otto Lopez with a huge 3-run homer coming after his triple in the 8th.
There you go. We need 6, please.
That shows you everything you need to know about where this game is. Colombia going back and forth to their bullpen time and time again, but Team Canada has come up big. A run in the 8th and 3 here in the 9th to blow open a 1-0 game.
And again, the impact of this game, a win here. Mexico, you expect to beat Great Britain. That would be a play-in game for Miami tomorrow. The winner gets the ticket punched.
And a wealth of history between Mexico and Canada in the WBC.
Casey gets into that one, hits it hard, but Mercado is there and makes the catch.
To close out what could be Canada's biggest World Baseball Classic win since 2006, they have on the mound Scott Matheson. He surrenders a leadoff single here, but Rich, an amazing journey for him. He has not pitched professionally since 2019 at the end of his 8-year run with the Yomiuri Giants of Nippon Professional Baseball. There he is with his Giants teammate Miles Michaelis of Team USA.
Yeah, what a journey that's been. And what an important spot here. Matt Brash was ready to go the closer. A 5-run lead, and here's Matheson. If he wobbles, you would expect Brash to be up and ready.
Well, and it's such an important outing for Matheson because you make a great point. If he wobbles, they're going to have to go to Brash, and they played him all night. And you never know if he's going to keep his pitch count in a position where he could come in back-to-back games.
Evan Mendoza is pinch hitting, and a Matheson fastball is fouled out of play. A ball and a strike. Mendoza with the Cardinals in AAA. Colombia needs traffic. They need to get to Alfaro and Diaz and Rodriguez.
We talked about that big part of their lineup. Gio Urshela in the 2 spot, Alfaro in the 3 spot, and Diaz hitting cleanup. They went down in order in the 7th.
Ground ball in the hole, backhanded there. Lopez bobbles and has to eat it. And Colombia has traffic.
If Colombia gets to Urshela, we're going to see Matt Brash.
Another pinch hitter coming up, Adrian Sanchez. I don't think he gets anybody on this ball, even if he has a clean transfer.
Yeah, he looked at second base, so he wasn't going to have a play at second base with Mercado running.
Brash had already started his warm-up routine, so he's very close to being ready, if not ready right now.
Now, they've got a bullpen coach down there that knows all about getting ready. Paul Quantrill is the bullpen coach, a 15-year veteran of the big league bullpens. And you can bet he was telling Brash just to watch Matheson. Let's play along with him. If you get anybody up, you're going to get up.
Sanchez swings and misses. Urshela next, Alfaro after him. And the Rockies catcher, Elias Diaz. Then Reynaldo Rodriguez. Nobody out, bottom 9. Slow tapper might be 2. Lopez, flip. Julian, turn, there's 2.
The 4th double play turned by Team Canada today. And it comes at a very important time. 2 outs, 1 to go. Lopez, the shortstop, has had a terrific game in the field. Flips to Julian, who completes the double play. A terrific double play, the 4th they have turned today.
Urshela now. There's a drive, left field, towards the line. Over Robson, there, and he's got it! And Canada wins it. Canada will play Mexico tomorrow for a ticket to Miami as they take down Colombia. 5-0. Great starting pitching. Outstanding bullpen. Timely hitting. Just a complete win.
Absolutely a complete win, and the youngsters came through dramatically for Team Canada. Bo Naylor drove in the first run of the game in the 4th. A 2-out RBI single. Owen Casey added an RBI, the 20-year-old. And then Alo Lopez, a terrific game. A triple and a run scored in the 8th, and a dramatic 3-run home run in the 9th. And how about the pitching? Noah Skiro, Curtis Taylor, Trevor Bragdon, and Scott Matheson, the veteran, closes things out. But what an effort by Team Canada in every aspect of play.
Colombia, of course, opened with the upset over Mexico. They have lost 2 in a row. Ernie Witt knew exactly what he was doing last night, right?
Absolutely.
He saved
you just have to look at the schedule.
He saved the arms for this one for Colombia, which sets up just an enormous game and a chance to advance for the very first time in World Baseball Classic play for Canada. That's tomorrow at noon against Mexico. Later on tonight, Mexico's playing Great Britain, the Cinderella story of Pool C. Big win for Canada. For Buck Martinez, JP Morosi, our entire MLB Network World Baseball Classic crew, I'm Rich Waltz. We'll see you tonight, and Canada will see you tomorrow.